Hey guys, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna play 2 tables of Zone, and while I'm doing it, I'm going to review my session from last night, which I just posted online last night. And Bovada actually gives you everybody's hole cards when they send you hand histories. So I get to see exactly what everybody had, and I get to comment on mistakes that I'm seeing people make. Just like straight away, you could open both of these from the positions that these guys have folded them from. And I'm basically analyzing every hand that I saw flop in here. And a few which I didn't, but which had reasonable pre-flop action. Okay, so like immediately, this is, I actually remember this hand. This is just a spot where he check raised and a spot where he really shouldn't be check raising anything. And it turns out he had 10 of clubs, which is honestly a pretty sensible hand to have if you're going to bluff check raise on this board. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's a pretty good play by him, probably. Alright. Not too much to say about that hand. I should look at pre-flop stuff always. But these folds are standard. Fold. This should be a fold in the small blind. This should be a call. Yep. And here I expect check, c-bet, fold. Alright, this is a very, very bad check call with king, queen high. Check, check, bet, fold. That's quite a bad river bet too, I think. So, not in love with the way he played his hand there. I think I played the hand fine. Yeah, I think I played the hand fine. I expect to do much better than I actually did. Okay, standard open. Here I'm gonna call at least one. So, like, I block ace-high clubs. He's unlikely to be value betting a 10 for a second time. It's a, like, scary-looking board, but there's plenty of stuff which missed. Alright, he just, like, happened to have a flush. Despite me blocking it. That's gonna be pretty hard for me to beat. So, standard 3-bet from kings. Nope. No 3-bet. I think c-betting is fine or checking is fine. Yeah, I actually remember this hand. I mean, that's whatever. What can you really say about that? Standard pre-flop. Don't. Oh, what? On earth? Just a very, very, very odd flop decision, but that's really nice to see that when people are donking, sometimes it means that they have pocket twos. Okay, so obviously Jack-10 suited would normally be a raise here. I think my ISO is fine. That hand is absolutely hilarious. Okay, so the limp min re-raise is Jack 10 suited sometimes. And my opponents have trips or a flush in every hand. Or top set of kings. Okay, so that guy just happened to have aces here. I mean, I wasn't expecting that he was light when he jammed there. It's a very bad re-raise sizing with aces. There's no reason for him to jam. But yeah, I remember making that 3-bet and I thought at the time that it was pretty bad. I've ordered these hands in their size, so that sort of spoils what's going to happen in them. So limp 4 is complete Jack 7. Neither of those things are unreasonable. I don't really like either of them either. Here I think, like, this is 3 high. So if I get him to fold 7-5 offsuit, it's pretty amazing for me. So with that hand, a c-bet seems pretty mandatory. I can call a miniature, c-bet here, and just check down now that I've hit a 3. I don't think I need to turn into a bluff. Yeah, I don't know why he bet 25 cents on the flop. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Standard fold, 7s raises, yep. Fold, fold, fold. Okay. I can 3-bet or call. I called. This is a spot where c-betting 7s is okay. I'm a little bit surprised that I folded ace-queen there. It's not terrible. I'm just gonna bet this flop. He won't play back with low cards very much. He has plenty of low cards. He shouldn't play back with low cards at least. Just gonna give up on the turn. Okay. Fold, 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 raise, fold, call. It all seems fine. Just gonna check call with ace queen on this flop. Okay. Excuse me. Check. Fold it to a 25-cent bet with 4s. That seems like a suspect play. Don't need to see bet into 2 people even on such a dry board. I wonder if I like timed out there. I know I was drinking last night. Standard pre-flop so far. Small blind should definitely 3-bet. Okay, yeah. I remember thinking that this donk was likely just an ace that didn't want to... What on earth? Didn't want to let hands with a diamond see a free card. This guy's decided to bluff with his ace, I guess. It's a very odd play by him. I don't hate it as much as I could. Here we have we have a dry pot is what it's called, I'm pretty sure. Because this guy's all in and there's no side pot, so we have to have a hand which can beat his to have any real merit for betting. I was gonna bet pretty small to protect against flush draws and the like at this point in the hand. And I'm gonna bet pretty small again for value, I guess. That was a very odd pot because of the all-in player making things weird. This hand was odd. Fold, 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 raise. Yeah. Limping. I don't know. Might be okay. Just gonna check fold on this board. I think I can raise. With 9-5 offsuit, probably. Don't know why he bet the flop. Okay, so I played that hand unreasonably well. Played it as though I was clairvoyant. Here I'm just gonna bet. I should bet smaller. Game theoretically, I'm pretty sure I should bet smaller if I'm including hands like ace king and ace queen in my c-betting range for value, which is why I was betting there. But I guess I did not bet smaller in the moment. Here I'm just gonna stab. Hey, he folded. Here, I'm just gonna fold, honestly. People don't 3-bet enough. I don't know. Okay, played that pretty well. Fold, 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 raise. Okay, that's a very, very tight button fold. Raise, min raise. Should... I think betting with the ace of spades is okay, but checking would be more normal. Check, check, bet, fold. Played that one totally fine too. I'm just check calling with my ace here. Sometimes I'll bet an ace, sometimes I'll check call with it. That's just how we play this flop. Not gonna fold there. And I might have to fold on that river if he really bombs it. Okay. Like, his play is pretty bad. That's not a hand which can get 3 streets of value on that board. Okay, so I played that one pretty damn well. This is too loose. It's under the gun open. Call, I expect an overcall, yep. Okay. Alright, how's this gonna play? God, I actually folded the best hand. That's filthy. I remember under the gun c-bets, which I don't think under the gun should c-bet. I don't think the hand is strong enough. Man, that's filthy. What on earth is this guy doing? Also this guy. Both of those guys are making some odd decisions here. Okay. Turns out I made the right fold. I don't mind that I folded turn with that hand at all. It's a pretty loose call in the small blind with Jack 10. think I can call with ace-10 offsuit here. Yeah, I remember this hand too. I think that my turn bet is maybe just bad, but I don't know. I still don't hate it. I think that is marginal. Okay, that's obviously meant to be a fold. I'm not really sure about limping behind Jack-10 offsuit. I'm going to just pitch ace-10 offsuit as such a bad multi-way hand in a re-raised pot. Like very, very, very bad. I see a flop with Jack-8. I have the best hand. We just checked this down, didn't we? Oh. Oh yeah. So that bet basically did what it's meant to do, which is awesome. But getting this guy to fold 17% equity, this guy actually has 7% equity in the pot. So that bet won me 25% of the pot if I ignore the idea that anyone could bluff me, which certainly a lot of people could. I don't think I need to c-bet this board. I think that I'm meant to get check raised too much, and it just really sucks to fold this hand to a check raise. I have a straight on the river. I think that I should raise. I'm not going to. This turn bet is pretty thin. I think I should raise there, but I have to think that he's folding a chop enough to offset the amount of rake that I lose when he calls. I'm pretty sure that I'm not beat much at all on that board, given that he bet on the turn and then bet that size on the river. I'm gonna backpedal. I think that just calling was best. I think he can have king-queen there. Theoretically, it's not impossible. This is a little loose. Okay, fold. That's meant to be a fold. Okay. Just one guy screwed up that one. I think that this is an okay c-bet. This is about where the two cards need to be for me to be c-betting that board into two people. They were both in the blinds, so their ranges will be a little bit wider. And I have position on them, so they have to play a little bit more straightforward. I don't know. There's so much rake. I don't know. I don't know. Alright. So just like neither of them have anything, and neither of them played with me. Checking flop is another very good option with fives there. I'm not sure which is better. You could open ace-10 offsuit here, but it's a little loose. Why don't we have small blinds cards? It's odd. Okay, 3-betting ace-queen would be normal. I call here. What a beast. What a beast I am. I probably don't need to call there. Although I understand why I called there. If you think about what hands I have that bet flop and then check turn on this board, like my ace highs tend to check back flop, so king high is actually pretty far up in my range here. Doesn't necessarily mean that I need to call, though. My ISO is loose. I remember commenting on that when I made it. I'm gonna try stabbing here. We're just going to try stabbing a little bit more at these limped pots and sort of see what happens. Alright, I made a pair. Take it to showdown. That's not the card I wanted. I'm going to fold to a bet. Let's see the next hand over here. That would be a normal raise from under the gun. Okay. Very bad limp. I don't really know why we check called either. I think the king jack offsuit is a particularly bad hand to choose to limp. Even if you're trying to mix it up with some limps in the small blind, I think the king jack offsuit is a pretty silly one to do it with. I'm gonna limp behind with ace deuce suited. So yeah, I'm raising. It's a very, very loose call. Call. I have the guy out kicked. It's another very, very loose call on the button. It's not as bad as his pre-flop call, I don't think. Here, I don't have to try to win this pot four-way. Here I'm just check calling with queen no kicker and backdoor flush draw. It's a better card for my range than his, theoretically. Well, this board ran out about as poorly as possible. He can have a check pretty easily. Can he be bluffing with worse? I don't know. He can have flushes. I don't think people call the big blind wide enough to begin with, so I'm not giving him as many of the low hands as he should have. Okay, wow. I just really suck at poker, clearly. So here, this is a very normal 3-bet. That guy played his hand worse than I played my hand, that's for sure. I'm at least not the worst player at that table. I'm sort of interested in what the... So I just added a bunch more hands. So I'm interested in what the steal success from the button has changed to. Because I was playing late at night, and I think that the tables are probably tougher late at night. Okay, I remember this hand. This is a pretty normal bet on this texture, I think. We need to bet more with hands without a diamond in them on this texture than we would on textures which weren't monotone, because they need to protect against so many hands. So on that particular board, the protection part, so you can get protection or value out of a bet. Those are the two ways that a bet can be good. On that sort of a board, the protection part of the bet is much more important than usual. Okay, once the dealer stats load, I can look. Success, 44%. That's what it used to be, isn't it? Are my stats actually updated? Hands 3.8k. Yep. Oh my god. Dealer is averaging a big blind per hand when opening from the button. That's absurdly high. There's so much cool information you can get out of this stuff. I still have the full stacks playing, the full and almost full stacks playing much looser in this spot than the shorter stacks. Shorter stacks seem to be limping a decent amount. Fold, 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 raise, yep, call, meh. So against eights, my plan to check raise was not the best. It's not the hand that I want him to have when I choose to check raise. Everything seems fine here. Not 3-betting nines blind versus blind is pretty tight, but maybe acceptable given how people are playing. I think that hand's okay. I could bet for value on the river, maybe. Fold, fold. Very bad limp. Very bad limp. Complete. Very bad check. What the hell is that guy doing? I can call here. Well, I have to call here. Alright. The turn is a fickle mistress. Can just check fold here. I have a pretty strong flush draw now. So I can either bet twice or check. I'm gonna bet twice. It's pretty easy, especially on the mobile software, to accidentally min 3-bet pre-flop with any two cards. I've done it before. So especially when he checks back flop, he doesn't have to have anything strong. Shit. This is really awkward now. I think I just have to check. Okay, his play with threes is not very good. The way he played it post-flop is fine. The reason I have to check is I think that he calls turn with all of his ace-queen combos because they have a wheel, and with very few king-queen and queen-jack combos. And I'm not really sure that jacks are going to call another bet. Also, a hand like jacks or tens probably bet the turn before the action even got to me. And it really sucks to reopen the betting and get check raise bluffed. Like, it really, really sucks. You have to value bet less liberally when you're in position compared to out of position. I just thought maybe this guy would have pocket twos like we saw over here, so I figured I'd try a raise. God, that check with ace king is so bad. This guy has a double gutter. Okay, so checking the thing about checking the river to collect bluffs is that he really doesn't have many bluffs on the river. 7-3 is the only hand with an 8-out straight draw. All of his flush draws, like backdoor flush draws on the flop, either got there or folded the turn. So I have to expect him to like have 7-3 exactly for the double gutter, or have 7-4, it's an open-ender, or have 10-9 of 10 jack of diamonds, 10 jack of clubs, or hearts. Sorry, I'm having trouble for some reason here. There just aren't many combos which whiffed, basically. It's more likely when he's calling with the draw that he also has a pair with it, something like 8-6 or 9-8 or 9-7. Pocket 7s, pocket 8s. 7-6, 7-5, etc. So I think given that, I can just bet for value against a hand like Ace-9 sort of stuff. Although that will bet if checked too. Oh, this is a pretty complicated spot. My hand's not strong enough to check raise is the thing, so I don't gain anything against Ace-9 by checking. It'll call a bet if I bet, and I'll get a bet out of it if I check as well. So I'm indifferent against Ace-9, so I have to work out what hands I actually care about as far as betting or checking. I have to... This is just so goofy. I have to worry a little bit about getting bluff raised if I bet, but I also have to worry about getting like over bet on if I check. Although this was against the dealer and he's almost... Oh yeah, I actually jammed on him. I forgot about that. So I don't really have to worry about him picking a bigger size, I guess. I don't know whether I meant to bet or check there. I think that they are very similar. This is just a spot where it's much easier for me to have a real hand than anybody else. My cat is drinking my water. I got a glass of water for when my throat starts to get dry, and my cat is drinking it. That's just like a classic three-way, easy steal spot out of the blinds. Happens all the time. Because like I meant to check the preflop raiser who was here, but after the preflop raiser checks and the guy behind him checks, their ranges are much weaker and my range still has all the strong hands it started with in it. Fold, fold. Wow, folding ace-4 offsuit on the button is very, very tight. Raise, call, those are both fine. Bet, fold, okay. Not the most interesting hand. Fold, 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 raise, call, all fine, check, bet, call. That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about check folding ace-5 there. That implies to me that he's check folding very often after he checks. He's defended by the rest of the population because those guys are never folding anything after they check. Huh. Fold, 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 fold. Raise, call. My raise is too loose. I'm sure everybody already knows that. It's too loose by design. Okay. I don't know how I feel about my bet there. I don't think I need to bet there. I think I found a couple of spots where maybe I should have been checking instead of betting already, and I know that there are some more in the bigger hands which I lose. Here I'm just gonna bet. Speaking of spots where I should check instead of bet, I think that betting here is fine though. Backdoor diamonds, 2 pair outs, trips outs, good amount of fold equity on an ace-high board. Let's see if this thing's working now. Nope. Is it working over here? Hey, sort of. Like, 2 of them are, and the others aren't for some reason. It's a very big pop-up. Okay. I didn't mean to, time out of that hand. I got distracted by pretty numbers. Where did that giant pop-up go? God, look at that. I need to spend some time alone with that data. This would be a normal raise. Limping doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This would be a normal fold. I don't think limping behind with it is good at all. My complete is the best play that's been made so far in this hand. Okay, not the most interesting. I think that's a really good raise. This is, I think, the first time that I've had a pocket pair and had someone min 3-bet me. That's pretty exciting to me. Usually I have like ace jack offsuit and it's just really miserable. That would be a really good note definition to put into my analysis software, like what range of hands people actually have when they min 3-bet. Because I think it might just be complete random cards. It's very tempting to turn my hand into a little bit of a bluff here. I'm going to do it. I am going to check behind if I get called by this guy and expect to actually win the pot a good amount of the time. Like, I think ace jack with 1 heart will call me all the time on the turn. Okay. That hand happened to just barely have me beat. That sucks. But I think that he will have worse hands like that, which I am beating. And that was definitely part of my thinking when I chose to bet like that. Here, I don't know. This is a pretty awkward spot. I'm not in a very good position on this flop. That's an interesting bet. I don't know what that's all about. This guy's very short, and if I get in a ton of money against this guy, I'm terrified. So that's not my river. So I think that just calling the flop is okay, and raising the flop is also fine. I can fold here, I think. It's absolutely disgusting. I have to win 1 time in 5. I can call. What on earth? Huh. I was not expecting him to be turning. I was not expecting him to have 9s there. And certainly I was not expecting him to be always turning them into a bluff, because it's like a very, very hopeless bluff, in my opinion. I was surprised that the first guy folded. The first guy looked like he had a king pretty confidently to me. I guess I should have bet out here, given that it is a limp to flop. It's quite a sizable bet from this player. So, fold, fold, call seems fine. Sure. I can be bluffing here. I could also check and let him bluff again. In spots like this, if draws have missed, it's more appealing to bet with your top pair sort of stuff. Because it looks like you have a missed draw. So all the flush draws and gutters and stuff missing, I think, might that an okay bet for me. It's pretty standard pre-flop. Okay, that hand was just completely standard. That king jack off here is an example of a hand which can definitely be considered for a 3-bet bluff. And possibly should be getting 3-bet bluffed. What? Huh. Okay, so King Jack offsuit has like no equity in the pot if it checks. So I want to make sure people can't do this to me and be making money. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to look at an opening range and I'm going to widen it to what I'm actually playing. Which is probably thereabouts. Ish. I'm gonna look at ace diamonds, 6 diamonds, 2 diamonds. Wow. He has queen jack of those colors, blockers. Other way around, I guess. And I need to defend against a bet 66% of the time. So if I just defend all my aces, it gets me to 47% already, so I need another 20% of hands. All my aces plus something cumulative. It's probably actually a profitable bet by him. That's crazy. Not a profitable bet by much, but huh. I just don't have many offsuit combos. Well, it might not be actually. Yeah, it's probably not because I have these diamonds hands. So yeah, I think what I intuitively was thinking was right to call against that bet is going to stop it from being a profitable play with the cards that he had. And I think that that's just a bad bet, especially since most people are going to be tighter than I am in this position. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, that's a play which probably isn't much worse than 0 EV, but it's probably slightly below 0 EV. And it worked for him. It's hard to be too upset about that. I believe I have to call with this hand. That's a much better card for his range than mine. I can consider bluffing here. I think I have too much stuff, like, yeah, too much worse stuff to bluff with, to want to turn ace-queen into a bluff. Showing down against threes, on the one hand, it sucks a little bit because he would have folded if I bet, almost certainly. On the other hand, it's like, other than choosing to be passive, I didn't make any mistakes in the hand. I didn't call in any spot where I didn't have enough equity to call. I just chose not to bluff at any point, which is, I mean, that's been a thing I'm typically choosing to do. I'm gonna bet here for protection. Sort of. That's not a bet I need to make. Open, fold, fold. Both of those hands could be considered for 3-bet bluffs. Very bad button call. Like very, very bad. Not a very sensible bet either when checked to. I don't think. Fold. This call is a little bit loose. That's fine. That's sort of what I expect to happen if I choose to play a more passive style on the flop. There aren't actually that many ways that I'm going to win this hand, despite the fact that I have a better hand than him. And position. The only way I win the hand is by double barreling and checking back the river, basically, or triple barreling. Given that, maybe I need to bet more. What's my c-bet at? My c-bet's at 56 and has 37% success. It's not a very good success ratio. Given that hands have value just in checking. I'm blocking some good aces. I'm going to 3-barrel here. Flush draws missed, etc., etc., etc. Okay. I think his call down with ace-jack is like fine. I expect him to have lots of worse aces, which fold. He's also meant to consider folding ace-jack like 100%. Need to stop bluffing, Jesus Christ. Not gonna bluff here. This is somewhat ridiculous. Okay, let's look back at this some more. As I found a spot where I really needed to be bluffing and then was reminded very sternly why I just don't bother. Okay, that's interesting. That's not a super normal hand to 3-bet, but it makes a lot of sense to 3-bet it given the way that people play. Here, I think calling here is good. Keep this guy in the pot, let him do something weird. Maybe I can fold. If this guy like rejams, I get to fold. Yep. I think this is a pretty easy fold. I'm just tanking down so that I get to see what their hands are, because I'm curious. Okay. Those are like not hands, which make a whole lot of sense, but jamming tens there is just I don't think it's good. Put it like that. Okay, that's normal. It's a very loose small blind open. So maybe this guy has recognized that people don't defend the big blind enough as well. And he checked until he had a straight and then bet. This guy played the hand pretty much how I would have played it. Queen jack offsuit is a pretty normal open. Eights is also like a mandatory open. I'm not allowed to limp that hand. Not so much. I get like I actually hit a gutter after c-betting. This is the best day of my— oh my god, he folded? What? I don't understand poker anymore. That guy folded too? It's a lot easier to get folds when I have a hand. Okay, so just like a very bad limp. Yeah, I remember thinking that that bet was pretty mediocre as I made it and etc. Okay, this ace is a good card for my range, given that I checked. He's going to bet at me. Okay. It would be normal for the small blind to check 100% of their hands on that ace turn, in my opinion. Normal. Huh. Okay, that's fine. That's what he had. Makes sense. Fold, yep. Yep. Why on earth would you lead here? That lead is just atrocious. Why don't you let me put money in? Don't understand. His hand is so good. It's not like he minds if I check behind. What can possibly happen on the turn, which he's upset about? Anyway. Probably he did it because, like, he's not good at poker. Fine. Okay, that guy had 2 pair. A lot of people have 2 pair. The only thing I saw in that pre-flop that I thought was interesting was someone choosing not to 3-bet light. with a hand which I thought could be 3-bet light. Yeah, I think that that's a really good way to play ace queen. Cool. Folding that is a little bit crazy to me. I'm gonna 3-bet this for just like very clear value against a 20-some big blind stack. Go all in. This bet is like value protection. Just like the stacks are so shallow that the board is wide enough. Even if he just has 2 overcards, like I just want to go all in so that I get the pot and he doesn't get the pot. I don't know. What do you want from me exactly? I can show you a ton of math on a spot like that, but I don't feel the need. This is pretty loose. I think that's a much more acceptable hand to 3-bet out of the small blind than to call with. Okay, that guy has trips as well. That guy has top pair. Oh, mid pair. Yeah, that's not a c-bet that you normally make. This is a very, very loose call pre-flop. Other than that loose pre-flop call, I think everybody did everything sensibly. In that hand, my opponent had a straight. I'm not like trying to be bitter, but oh my god, I just went with 10 high. Alright, I can no longer complain about anything. It does seem like my opponents have very, very good hands a very large amount of the time in these hands that we are reviewing. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's how I expect both of us to play the hand, except for the button open being looser than it needs to be, but that's probably because that guy has some idea how to play poker and is doing the similar adjustments to what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't think you need to do that with ace-5 suited. I think that that sort of ruins the quality of the hand in a lot of ways. It's a very, very loose call. The jam is ridiculously bad. It might actually be plus EV, but I mean, you're allowed to call, that's plus EV too. Plus EV by a considerably larger amount, I would guess. Because I think I'd be struggling to make that king-queen offsuit jam better than 0. Again, this is just a spot where you should probably just raise pre-flop. Like, why did he bet the turn? I don't know. The most dissatisfying thing about it is that I'm pretty sure that you're meant to bet ace-5 there sometimes on the turn. But I don't think that it was a very good bet. On the other hand, I make bets like that all the time in these hands which we're reviewing. Okay. So yeah, folding to 3 bets seems like just very clearly the correct thing to do. This is... yeah. That turn should be my turn after I check call. This is a spot where I really don't represent anything missed if I bet on the river, so I just have to check again and hope that he bluffs. Because I certainly have queen jack in my range, for example. Standard raise, standard call, standard overcall by me. Both of those guys have flopped the pair. I wonder what it's like. Alright. It's like this. It sucks. This guy like just c-bet. Alright, this guy is potting at me. That's a very, very bad card, actually, I think. If he keeps betting, it's a bad card. If he checks, it's a pretty good card. If he bets that big, I think it's a good card. I wish that I tanked a little bit more before checking the river. I don't know how much people read into timing tells, but... yeah. Okay. So he did hit his draw. He was just like afraid I would fold on the turn or something. The ace of hearts completes every draw on that board. Except for jack 9. Squeezing would be normal with ace queen here. Check it down. Check it down. It's a pretty loose preflop call by that guy. I think I can probably see that flop on this texture. That's a pretty interesting flop call. Pre-flop call, rather. Check, check bet, fold, yep. His pre-flop call is pretty bad. Check, check. I can, like, check or bet this hand. I think the way I played that is okay. I'm surprised that he folded on the turn. I was planning to bet the river as well, because I expected him to like always call with that hand on the turn. Raise, fold, 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 call, that seems fine. Check, bet, fold, sure. Guy is overbetting. Like, these games are so tough for 25 no limit right now. That's such a good overbet. Like, it's just it is very sensible to overbet that turn. I don't know why I'm playing these games. It's 6 AM right now, for anybody wondering. And I don't think that's the ideal time to be playing. Like, nothing I have seen ever implies to me that I'm meant to actually try to defend against this 3-bet. So I'm just gonna fold. Fold, fold, raise, 3-bet. Oh yeah, I remember this hand. him like just check call, like the way that he played it post flop is very, very bad. I think he needs to check raise. Either the flop or the turn are fine. He folded ace queen. What a beast. What a beast. So maybe I should be 3-betting the big stacks wider than I have been. Can't really fold to that bet. I'm ahead of 9-7 now. Gonna bet for a little bit of protection and then check the river. I don't think that the all-in jam is particularly strong. Neither does this guy, clearly. That is a bad, bad call with threes. It's just hard to win at poker. I wonder how bad that call was. It was really, really bad. Alright. I don't have to call that bad. I don't hate it though. Alright. This guy has a like biggish stack. Maybe he's the guy who just called with threes though. Queen high boards are pretty good for the caller's range. This hand is just such a... It's a much better hand to see bet with than try to check, do something. Now I'm just check folding on a turn, which gives me nothing. Keeping on betting on any six, any diamond. That c-bet with ace-7 offsuit is pretty atrocious. This call is pretty bad. That call's pretty bad. That raise is pretty bad. Okay. I found a hand where somebody bluffed. I think that betting this size is actually pretty good here, because it puts this guy in a pretty gross spot. And it makes stuff like king queen fold, queen jack fold. It stops me from getting bluffed. When this guy calls the bet with somebody behind, like if he was floating to do that, I'm very impressed. His call pre-flop is not very sensible. I don't think. I think 4-betting 3-flop, free flop, like with somebody behind you. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was great. This call is really bad. I'm gonna bet for protection now that this is folded or checked through. That call with 4s is terrible. Oh, I remember this hand. This one was funny. I don't even think he played it that badly. Checking behind the river there isn't that bad. It's a funny hand. This is me going for over an hour, so I'm also like sort of halfway through these, so I'm going to break this video here and then finish up my review in a second part. See you guys in like 30 seconds.